Third, up by 18. Nikola Jokic finds Cam Johnson. Step back three. Got it. Denver wins this one. 125-113, and we are headed back to Minnesota for Game 6 on Thursday night. Nikola Jokic, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists, 2 blocks as part of his triple-double. Jamal Murray, 24 points in this effort. Spencer Jones, also 20 points. He had the 3-ball working as the Nuggets roll to the win here in Game 5. We now welcome in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, the Nuggets are still alive. Just when they were on the brink of elimination, they've made it a series again. What was your reaction to the convincing fashion in which Denver won this one?
Yeah, this is kind of the version of the Nuggets that we've been waiting for this entire series. And certainly, you know, at home, Game 5, can't lose another one. And then the Wolves don't have Anthony Edwards and, of course, Dante DiVincenzo, who's out, not just for this postseason, but for probably all of next year with an Achilles. And you wanted to see the Nuggets really respond to that. And they certainly did tonight. Nikola Jokic, he put up some pretty good counting stats earlier in the series, but Rudy Gobert previously had defended him really well. Not tonight. Joker goes for a 27-point triple-double, had a bunch of points in the paint, really announced to Rudy Gobert, yeah, you know, you got the better of me in some portion of this series, but not tonight, and maybe not moving forward. Jamal Murray played really well. Those two guys combined, I mean, they really needed to have a big game, and they did. And I thought their playmaking especially was remarkable. They had 23 assists. The Wolves, the entire team, only had 26 assists, and you'd kind of expect that when the Wolves lost not only 2 of their 5 starters, but 2 of their 5 best ball handlers and playmakers. And then on top of that, you know, earlier in the series, Jaden McDaniels had said, well, those guys don't play defense. Well, tonight they played some defense, and then on top of the Wolves not having their 2 best ball handlers, they turned the ball over, the Wolves did, 25 times, which led to 35 points. So just at both ends of the floor, a really good answer for the Nuggets.
You kind of talked about this earlier. We did see a much better version of Nikola Jokic in this game offensively. He started the game kind of pedestrian, didn't look like he was going to be quite as polished as we know he can be, and then he goes all the way and gets that triple-double, as we mentioned, a way more efficient outing for him in this series. What impact do you think that a night like this from him will have on Denver's collective psyche as they enter Game 6?
Yeah, I mean, I think just for Joker, you saw what happened at the end of the last game in Minnesota where he runs up on Jaden McDaniels, and part of that I think was Joker not being happy with Jaden McDaniels scoring the ball and breaking the unwritten rules of basketball. And part of it was I think Joker was trying to get himself and his team going, right?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. The Denver Nuggets are still alive. Down 3-1 in the series, facing elimination at home, they came out and dominated the Minnesota Timberwolves 125-113. Nikola Jokic put up 27 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists, and 2 blocks. Another triple-double. Jamal Murray added 24. Spencer Jones had 20. And the Nuggets cut the series lead to 3-2. Now they are heading back to Minnesota for Game 6. The crew on ESPN started breaking down what changed, and John Gonzalez had some sharp insights. He said this was the version of the Nuggets we have been waiting for the entire series. And he pointed out that the Timberwolves are without Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. Edwards is out with an injury. DiVincenzo is out for the rest of the postseason and probably all of next year with an Achilles tear. That is a massive loss. And the Nuggets took full advantage. Let me show you exactly what the crew said. Roll the clip. Did you catch that? Let me break this down because John Gonzalez made some great points. First, he talked about Nikola Jokic. He said, Rudy Gobert previously had defended him really well. Not tonight. Joker goes for a 27-point triple-double, had a bunch of points in the paint. Really announced to Rudy Gobert, yeah, you got the better of me in some portion of the series, but not tonight and maybe not moving forward. That is the key. Gobert is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He has been Jokic's kryptonite thigh. Series. But last night, Jokic took over. He was aggressive. He was physical. He was making shots from everywhere. And he was setting up his teammates. He and Jamal Murray combined for 23 assists. The entire Timberwolves team had only 26 assists. That is dominance. Then Gonzalez talked about the Timberwolves' struggles. He said, "You lost Anthony Edwards. He's not going to play in Game 6 for sure, most likely not going to play in the series. And you don't have Dante DiVincenzo. So, you're down 2 of your 5 starters. And you just got handled pretty convincingly by the Nuggets." Julius Randle stepped up with 27 points. Ayo Dosunmu had 18 off the bench, but Jaden McDaniels only had 13. Rudy Gobert had 3 points. Mike Conley, who they had to dust off and insert into the starting lineup, played limited minutes and scored only 4 points. The offense just was not there. And the turnovers were a disaster. The Timberwolves turned the ball over 25 times, which led to 35 points for the Nuggets. Gonzalez said, "They really have to clean that up. That playmaking and the ball handling, it's got to come from somewhere, and tonight that was a real problem." Now, let's talk about the scuffle at the end of Game 4. Jaden McDaniels made a layup after Denver had already quit playing. Nikola Jokic chased him down. Julius Randle got into it with Joker. Jokic earned a 0-0-0-0 fine. Randle got 35-0-0-0. Gonzalez said, "That was Joker trying to get himself and his team going. Light a little fire under him." And he certainly did that. This was sort of a reminder tonight, not just for the Nuggets, but for the Wolves, for Rudy Gobert, for all of us, that Joker might not win the MVP most likely, but is probably, at least for my money, still the best player in the world. And then the host pointed out something that should terrify Timberwolves fans. She said, "If Nikola Jokic cannot get Denver back in the series and they go into the off-season after the first round, I think for the first time ever in his career, the microscope will kind of be pointed at him for his performance in this series." That is the stakes. Jokic has never lost in the first round. He has never been the reason his team went home early. But this series, he has struggled. Before last night, he was shooting 39% overall, 18% from 3. When Rudy Gobert was the primary defender, he was shooting 33%. That is not the Jokic we know. Last night was a reminder of who he really is. Now, let's look ahead to Game 6. The Timberwolves are still the favorites on paper. They only need to win 1 game. The Nuggets need to win 2. But as Gonzalez said, "How are you feeling?" "I'm feeling nervous. Because you lost Anthony Edwards. You're down 2 of your 5 starters. And you just got handled pretty convincingly by the Nuggets." The Timberwolves have to figure out where the scoring is going to come from. They have to clean up the turnovers. They have to slow down Jokic. And they have to do it on the road, with their son on the line. That is a lot to ask of a team that is missing its 2 best ball handlers. If the Nuggets win Game 6, all the pressure shifts to Minnesota for Game 7. And in a Game 7, anything can happen. But the Nuggets have the best player in the world. And last night, he reminded everyone why. I want to know what you think. Can the Timberwolves close out the series in Game 6? Or will Jokic force a Game 7 and complete the comeback? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe if you want to stay locked in. We are building something real here. See you next time. Peace.